Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. It's Sunday morning. Welcome to another edition of Album Homework Assignment. We have in the captain's chairs today, I'm just kind of along for the ride. We've got the creator of this show, Mr. Jamie Laszlo, and we've got Lewis Nasser. We've got Ohio and Chicago representing today, as well as over here in New York. So what's up, gentlemen? How are you?
What's going on? People are like, why is Laszlo on here all the time? It's like Marvel team up in the 70s and 80s. Why are they always teamed up with Spider-Man? Why don't they mix it up more? Sorry.
The luck of the draw. Well, it's like we have some other matchups that are planned, but we've had some scheduling conflicts. And Jamie has been very, happy to jump in and let's.
I have no life, Pete.
What does that say for me then? Jesus, oh my God, it's all the damn time. But no, I'm glad both of you guys. I've long been wanting to pair you guys up together, so I thought this would be a lot of fun. So I'm anxious to hear what you guys got. You have any preference for who wants to go first today, or should I just pick one?
It doesn't matter. Lewis can go first.
Okay, Lewis, you're going to go first. What were you given by Jamie?
All right. So my assignment for this week was an album by a band that I'd never heard before called Murder by Death. And the album is Good Morning Magpie. All right. So when I first saw the cover, I was imagining it might be some kind of metal thing. And then what I discovered, and I made notes, so this is why I'm putting on the reading glasses because I want to go track by track on this one, right? The opening track is essentially a 30-second long toast, right?
Like toast.
And I'm a little confused. Yeah, these guys are cheering. It's a toast.
A little intro.
And then track number 2, which is called As Long as There Is Whiskey in the World. Essentially, to me, it sounds like an Irish drinking song passed through Americana country lens. It's kind of how it sounds to me. But there are some things that really make it stand out. In particular, I am a very big fan of the cellist. It's a lady. And she adds some really, really cool arrangements to the line. So, it's a song that we've all heard before, even if in my case, I had never heard that song. But she brings an arrangement to it that makes it unique. It's not like a fiddle, just a little higher. And the cello is just really, really, really perfect for the sort of music, right? Now, that song is not really in my wheelhouse. I didn't particularly like it, but I will say that the ending, which surprised me, it kind of borrows liberally from the ending of The Who's A Quick One, He's Away. It has that same, it's exact same chord progression, same, it's just, but it's done in their Irish drinking style, right? It's a little bit like that Roger Daltrey solo album with the Chieftains. I don't know if you guys ever heard it. He did this show. It has a little bit of that vibe, which was interesting. But so far, I'm not really feeling this record. There you go. She is awesome. She's awesome.
I have a crush on her, and I've told her that.
She's very pretty.
Well, very well understood because she is fantastic. What a musician. Then track number 3 is when I start to realize that there's a formula to this, which has good points and bad points. It's called On the Dark Streets Below. All right. And I'm just going to read it. One of the strengths of this band are the lyrics, in my opinion. Right? Like if you just listen to the record, the first once or twice I listened to it, I was very, I wasn't really getting into it, but then I started to pay attention to what they were saying. And this song is, when you hear On the Dark Streets Below, you're thinking, all right, well, there's some kind of mood thing. There's something going down. But this band has a way of, they have like a 4-beat, and then they hit this waltz associated with that 4, and they do a double time, right? This is like their formula. So it's like they're always trying to remind you it's basically a drinking and party band, but it's not a frat boy party band. It's like you're in one of those old guy bars and people are just reminiscing of all the ways they've life, but they just want to have like a raucous good time. And there's a lyric which I think summarizes the attitude Annie's always been a live one, says the matroness. She never cries. She never lets her sorrows get her best. She makes that kind of music of the buttons popping off her dress. She knows that's just the way it goes on the dark street below. And I think that that is essentially the whole mission statement, right?
They wouldn't happen to be from Boston, would they?
I don't know anything about them. I didn't do that much investigation, but
I believe they live in Indiana now.
Yeah.
I think.
The next song is called King of the Gutters, Prince of the Dogs, which begins with these really ominous sleighs. So I'm thinking, this is pretty good, right? The sleighs are always a good idea. But then it's the same, it's basically F major to D minor to B flat, and the chorus is A flat to F. That's basically what it does. But again, the lyrics kind of save it, because it's the same thing you've heard every time. But I love the chorus. It's throw me a bone, feed me a line, pour a hard drink for harder times. I'm the king of the gutters, the prince of the dogs, one or the other, a ship lost in the fog, right? And my only problem so far, and I found myself getting a little bit irritated by this as I listened, is that the message in the lyrics is very mournful, right? But yet they have to inject this weird double time every time. There's a little bouncy thing that happens. I'm like, dude, chill, let me feel it. You don't have to, So I was just getting irritated by that. Like, I wanted the music, I wanted to allow myself to just go with the flow, and then they just double time it, which was weird to me. But I've never heard anything like this. So for me, this is new. Piece by Piece. Again, it's another song I never heard before, but I've heard a million times. By the way, these guys, for any of viewers that we have who are like more music nerds, almost everything they play, the lead guitarist or the guy who sings, not the lead guitarist, he does the same tuning as, well, he plays with a capo on the 3rd fret a lot. So everything is in C minor, G minor, that sort of thing. He likes that sound, which is cool, because in combination with a cello, right, it creates a very, it's interesting. It's not, I've never heard anything like that. Certainly not in the radio or in bars. I've never seen a band play with that kind of a vibe, which was cool. I like that. But so far, nothing is happening until you get to the title track. Okay. Now, this is the first song on the record where I am completely intrigued and I'm completely sold, because if I understand correctly, and of course, people need to give me a pass because I'm not an expert in American folklore, but if I understand correctly, there is a superstition that says that a magpie is somehow connected to the devil. And therefore, when you wake up in the morning and the first thing you see is a magpie, you need to greet it with respect, or it will come and take your soul. Okay? So that already is a cool idea for a song, and it's a cool idea for a title track. So I'm interested already, right? Even though I know it's bullshit, but it just sounds awesome, right? And then this particular track develops in a way that is more sympathetic to my sensibility. It doesn't force me or feel the need to remind me that this is a drinking good time band, that it's okay to just take the plunge, right? Which is something that I like. So I really enjoyed the title track very much. That was the first one that really put it together. Then comes a song called You Don't Miss Twice. I think the subtitle is When You're Shaving with a Knife or something like that. And so we know where we are. We're basically in Deadwood, that HBO series. This is the vibe. Again, there's this maniacal calliope of an arrangement for the cello that is just essential. But then this one is a little bit, the way that I heard it, because again, I'm not familiar with him, it sounded like Tom Waits was trying to make a commercial song, but instead of using hammers and engine blocks, he just used a regular drum kit. If that makes any sense, thinking that latter day Tom Waits, they go for that, which I've always loved. I'm a big Tom Waits fan. I love that guy, and I think it's great. This one is like, all right, well, let's just dial up a few more friendly sounds, and let's take away some of the rasp, and let's just polish it up a little bit. But not bad. It's pretty good. The next song is a song called Yes. My answer to that is no. Then we go right to Blob, right? Which again is if you think about it musically, It is the exact same formula as the song Let My Love Open the Door by Pete Townsend. But this particular one, it plays G major, A major, D major twice, G major, A major, B minor, and it cycles around. It's a really good song. It's also a love song, but what I like about it is that this is not, it's a song about somebody who's lost a loved one, and it's not clear from the lyric if this person is dead and they are haunted by this memory, or if it's somebody who's alive, but they are just still in this strange headspace. And the lyricist is an amazing writer. He does a really good job with the lyrics, right? Again, if you were to put like Ian, Gillan lyrics to this music, this would be a fucking 3-alarm fire. It'll be just crap. But if you put these lyrics in this context, it would be amazing, right? Because they really lift it for my listening experience. Then, and this is what saved the record for me, there's a song, track number 10, called White Noise. Okay. It's a 2-chord song, just like many Bob Dylan songs, C minor to B flat major. But my God, it is so fucking good.
Take me to
you
the
gotta
valley.
go 10 into it. You gotta go 10 into it, right? When you hit that one, and there is this rumbling bass, which seems like I can't really tell from the mix, because the mix is not like hi-fi, but it's maybe it's a piano, maybe it's just a bass with an octave pedal, or a bass being doubled with a cello. There's some kind of weird beats happening, but that ominous bass is like this bedrock of an earthquake just running through this thing. It's like it really does kind of give you a sense of the end of the world, and it is an amazing piece of music. So that, and then when the cello actually starts playing a melody, it just kind of emerges from the shadows. It's perfect. This song is absolutely brilliant. And then unfortunately, they feel the need to end this with an uplifting, the day. And that to me is a downer, because I guess I'm just a freak, and I enjoy that miserable, dark experience, and then the happy stuff just kind of is a bummer. I don't really dig it. But so again, one thing you're gonna hear me say over and over and over, they maintain the vibe, and that was a very good choice. The last song also kind of keeps as an echo the low frequency rumbles from White Noise. So it kind of reminds you that this really cool thing happened. It doesn't completely just cut it and let you forget it. It's kind of lingering from the previous track. It's not a bad song. But it's not as good as the other one. It's just such a huge difference in quality, right? So overall, I would say, having never heard them, right? I was very, very impressed by the lyrics in general, right? I was very impressed by the cellist, a brilliant musician. The singer, I think he's perfect for what he wants to do, right? He does this kind of, I don't know how to describe it. To me, it has like a
Johnny
country.
Cash.
Yeah, it's like this. But he has 2 modalities in his voice. He's like loud and drunk, and he's like soft and drunk. So it sounds kind of like how it sounds to me. But he is actually invested in what he's singing about, so that always helps, And the drummer, I would say, has something I'd never heard before, which when he's playing these like happy double time drum fills, he's like very tom heavy. But then the way that he resolves it when they go back into the threes that are associated with that, into the waltzy laments, he just instead of just cutting the beat, he starts playing at the same speed, but he's hitting all the rims. So it's like he goes from a full drum kit to like a skeleton. This is a really, really, really nice thing with that. So I got to give that guy props. And I want to apologize to all the Murder by Death fans. I don't know the names of any of them. I'm a newbie, and I'm sorry, but I'm just telling you what I heard. First impression, right? They like their capo on the 3rd fret. Nothing wrong with that. Jethro Tull made a great career with that move, right? But a few Bob Dylan style of every song is a story. And in many of them, there aren't very many passages. Sometimes the chorus is sung over the same chords as the verses. So it has a lot of that style. And as far as the ultimate question, right? Would I buy it, stream it, or just forget about it? Well, just for the record, the fat man don't stream. I don't stream. Fuck that. So it comes down to buy it or forget about it. And actually, it's going to be neither. It's going to be neither for one reason. I will be very tempted to buy it, but I know I would never play it. However, next time I see that these guys are coming to Chicago, I'm going to go see them live.
There you go.
Because those guys, I mean, they do deserve attention. And I think that just for the cellist, I want to go see her play live. And I imagine, I mean, I guess I'm probably wrong, but in my mind, this would be a perfect band to see in a small bar or in a small club, rather than a big theater or whatever, because it's just a great, it seems to me like, yeah, you're going to be playing that. I want to be sitting there with a fucking whiskey and I want to enjoy it. Let's take the ride together, right? I don't want to be sitting next to a bunch of yuppies taking selfies and talking. Fuck that, right? So I would rather just go to a bar with other old farts like me and enjoy it, you know, and just be a part of the experience and really enjoy it. So I am actually grateful, Jamie, because you really put me out of my comfort zone. There's no fucking way I would have ever listened to this, ever. And I am really happy because that White Noise song is great. And they have a video. I started going down that rabbit hole. The video, they do these animations, but they're not like, you know, they're tastefully done. And it's very nice. So these guys are respect. Even though I'm not into the style of the music, it's too simplistic sometimes. The cellist puts it over the top. The drummer does what he needs to do, and a little bit more, which is always great, because I am of the opinion that a band is only as good as their drummer. I know it's controversial, but this is what I think as a bass player, and they're good. So I'm not going to buy it, but I will go see them live.
So
And
Louis,
they are fun to see live.
you've just created a fourth option, right? I'm not going to buy it. I don't stream. I'm not going to forget it, but I will go see them live. There you
That's
go.
right.
Hey.
If you go see them live, tell Sarah, the drunk guy who's married to the black girl who always comes up to you wasted, says hi.
I will do that. I will bring your photo with me.
There you go. You remember this guy?
Yeah.
Like
I'll use it as a
poster.
prop. I'll make a mask. The drunk guy, this guy, in honor of your props. I will
And
do
she's
that.
married to the lead singer.
Okay. But yeah, they're good. It's a good band. And I'm happy I discovered them. But I just know myself, I'm not going to play the record. So I don't want to just buy it because I have to curb my spending impulse, right? I have to buy stuff that I know I'm going to play a lot.
And their moody songs are their best songs.
Yes, that White Noise thing.
Yes.
And then I started going and listening to other songs from other albums, and they have other really good tracks as well, right? It's
Right.
just that for my taste is more in that direction. I don't need to be told to. I don't need cues to be happy or sad. I just wanted to listen, right? So
Cool. All right. So
All right.
Jamie, what were you given this week?
I got something, a band I never heard of. Pete, you heard of them. Echolin.
Oh.
And he gave me my.
Oh. Now I understand your comment from a couple days ago. Okay.
It's one song,
Yes.
folks. One song, 50 minutes. Here, digest that, Laszlo. And I watched your ranking of the albums, Pete. And when you got to my, you said, this took me a while to get into. Yeah, this one took some time. Well, I had 6 days. So, and I told my wife when we were talking about it, I said, how do I talk about one song? I mean, do I like break it down into time segments and then talk about each segment of time? Well, that's what I did. So here we go, kids. I broke it down. Now, trust me on this. This idea is a very good idea, but this execution is about to suck. So, but we're going to get through it together, guys. Us three and the other people watching, we will get through this together. So at 0.00, the song starts. And here's the thing, guys. The first time I streamed this from my phone, my stereo wasn't hooked up right. And it's playing, and I ain't hearing it. I said, oh no, I'm missing it. But then I thought, 50-minute prog song. This thing is starting off quiet with a very slow buildup. I ain't missing a damn thing. So I took my time, and I was right. I'm not missing anything. It was just very slow buildup to about the 122 mark. And then at 123, we get these nice earthy vocals that I was not expecting, because this is a 2002 prog album. Mm-hmm. And normally early 2000s, 90s, I'm not a big fan of. It's hard to describe, but it's nice to hear these style of vocals kind of rough it up a little bit, give it a bit of edge. And then at 4 minutes, it's starting to kick in a bit, and I hear a little bit of Steven Wilson in his style with singing, a little bit of Porcupine Tree. I think that's the only time it shows up, though. I made these notes as the song played. So at 5:29, now we're finding a groove. And finding a groove in a prog song ain't the easiest thing to do. But these guys kind of find grooves in this song. And it's got a nice organ in it. Oh, yeah. Real old school organ sound. And the organ, I never realized these words are so similar. The organ made it organic. So weird. And then at 8:35, we bring, things start to come down a little bit. Because, I mean, you can't have an up without a down, and we got 50 minutes to go, so there's got to be ebbs and flows here. Then we got into some crunchy guitar coming. Just to remind you, this is a classic or a prog rock album. And then we get groovy again. And the singing comes in, and the singing is just on the edge of being out of tune. You know, he's really stretching his vocals. And the music is kind of frenzy-like, and the guitar has like this King Crimson guitar tone. And what's keeping it all together? The organic organ. It's like glue, just keeping it all from going. And then at 16:14, you're like, what is this? A glass of water? No, that's a jean pocket, because we find this little pocket that we're kind of, grooving in. I'm going to use the word groove a lot for this album, believe it or not, and it's a prog album. So we're in this little pocket, but this isn't a pocket like a funk song or, a pop song. This is a prog pocket. So things are a little bit looser, a little bit more baggy. There might be a hole in the pocket and some notes are falling through it. Just a little bit looser, a prog pocket. So at 18:26, we go down into this bass breakdown, and it goes into a badass guitar riff. So you got the riff going, you got the bass going, and the singer comes in. And I wrote this down, and let me read what I wrote, because I want to say it as I wrote it. The lead singer is stretching out the notes and the lyrics so they hover over the beat like a blanket that was woven by a crazy person. So if you see here, I got the beat going, and I got a blanket over that, and you can tell it was woven by a crazy person because it says on the blanket, "I'm nuts." How lame is that?
That's got to be the Gentle Giant influence, right, Lewis?
I think so. Yes.
And like a crazy person would weave a blanket that says, "I'm nuts." Look at me. So, anyways, in 2010, the lead singer, they got 2 lead singers on this, I believe. So I don't know who's singing what. Well, I watched the live video too, and I watched them perform it live.
Ray and Brett, right?
Ray and Brett, and then the other guys sometimes pipe in, but yes, mostly Ray and Brett.
So we almost have a chorus here where he's singing "Love Is Right in Front of Me." Every once in a while, you almost have a chorus, but this is all just verses. So yeah, "Love Is Right in Front of Me." So I put a little heart there. There's love in front of you. And then at 20:31, the music gets a little hard, it gets a little soft, it's a little hard, it's a little soft. So I put a couple blue balls there because at this point, this song's getting blue balls from going soft and hard too many damn times. Blue balls. 22:24, there's a funky breakdown that goes into a more soft singing. So he's singing softly, but you can tell he's still kind of angry. So what I put here was shh, but also grr, softly angry. I told you.
That's
This
Ray to a
execution
T, though.
sucks.
Ray always sounds like he's on the edge of
Oh yeah.
Yes.
angst,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's a good pickup there.
And then at 24 minutes, it sounds like a big bombastic ending. And you're like, wow, that 50 minutes flew by. Nope, we're only halfway done. They're teasing you. They're giving me blue balls now. So at 25:08, I drew a little radio here because if you were a surgeon, you could almost take out this part of the song and make it a rock radio single. Dare I say, this part right here, I don't know what they would call it, 25:08 to 30:14. So it's got a nice structure songwriting wise. And then it goes in. So they would play, that would be the radio edit. You know,
Is that a toilet?
yeah, well, I'm getting to that, Lewis. So don't read ahead.
I'm sorry.
So that's the radio edit. Okay.
Yeah.
During the nighttime, they might extend the song into the jam at the end in case the DJ needs to use the bathroom, Lewis. So the DJ needs to drop a deuce. We play the whole 9 minutes of the song and let it ride out.
Oh, this is
Maybe you can get a
perfect.
cup of coffee.
That's the drop off the kids at the pool edit, right?
Yes, and just let it go. So, and it's really cool though. He screams, "No more wishing you away." It's really powerful, you know. So the late night is the better version of the song. So then at 34:16, we got to come down a little bit. We just rocked your ass off, so it's time to chill, and it's nice. But then it starts to gain steam again. Here's my little engine. You can't see, gaining steam, and you know, it's amazing how many lyrics are on this song. You would think it would be a 50-minute, like mostly instrumental. No, this guy sings the whole way through. So look, here is your basic lyrics for a song, right? Your basic lyrics. Here's the lyrics to this song. How do they remember all these words? You memorize that. I can't even memorize this presentation. I got all my notes underneath. So anyways, who sings what verse? Oh, it's my turn. So then we go 41:32, and I'm reminded a little bit, probably hard to read. They sound a little bit like Haken. So I'm thinking if Haken was influenced by them. And I'm reminded of Vandergraaf, and I think they were influenced by Vandergraaf because of that anger. It's underneath, you know, Vandergraaf has that anger. Then 43:34, holy funk. They bring in more funk. As funky as a prog rock band can get, they bring it. And they're jamming. And at 44:44, I think we finally got the big finish, boys. And thankfully, for me and you and everybody watching, it is over. This presentation's over because at 47:34, they're like, you know what? We're tired. You're tired. Let's lull this song to sleep for the next 2 minutes. And good night song. Good night, long ass song. And there you go. Now, you might, I mean, look, I am not an idiot. I can recognize greatness. And there is greatness here. The question is, do I enjoy listening to the greatness? So go ahead, ask the 3 questions, Pete. Let's make it.
All right, Jamie. So the ultimate question is, would you buy it? Would you stream it? Would you forget it? Or would you maybe just go see him live?
I'm going to create a 5th option. Well, kind of like a fifth option. I cannot buy the CD because the thing is $100 on eBay and Discogs.
Out of print.
You guys with your crazy early 2000s, 90s prog albums, these things always go for like $100 to $200 on CD. Not bring myself to spend that much on a CD. So what I did was it was available on Bandcamp still. So I went and downloaded it on Bandcamp. But here's the thing. It said me. It had the album cover. I downloaded it. It's the live version. So I have, and I don't hate the live version. I wish it was the one that I saw on YouTube with the orchestra, but it's not. So I
did you get
downloaded
that?
the live version. It's on my phone.
Yeah, there's one called Stars and Gardens, I think. That's the one with the orchestra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe the one you got is
the
the
other live one was
Jersey.
probably the Nearfest performance, right? Because I know
Yeah.
that's available. Yeah.
The one I got starts with the lead singer saying, "Does anybody have to use the bathroom?"
Sounds like Ray.
Which is funny. So there you go. I bought the download. $7. It's worth $7.
Can't beat that.
And I will say this though. Look, I've done this 4 times now. It's the best album that was given to me in this series so far. I enjoyed it the most. So there you go.
Awesome.
And you know what, Pete? You said it took a long time for it to digest for you. This would have taken a long time for me if I didn't do the notes, if I didn't break it down. That I should go do that with Thick as a Brick right now. Because I rarely play that album because I don't play a lot of I play other Jethro Tulls most of the time.
Right.
So yeah.
It's an interesting concept to look at it that way. Yeah. And you know, for most of us who are fans of Ekelund, or even maybe not that familiar with Ekelund, our introduction to that album was at Nearfest, where literally nobody had the album yet. It hadn't come out. And we're all excited to see them. And they basically like, all right, we're going to play the entirety of our new album. It's a almost hour-long track, and boom, they went right into it.
Was everyone into it?
No,
Yeah, pretty much, but some people.
I don't know. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I think people liked it, but I was bummed out. Like I was, because they started with just the regular songs, and they were killing, and they just had this great energy, and then they sort of stopped, and they bring out the orchestra. And I've known these guys for years. They're awesome dudes, and I've been friends with Ray for many years. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What is this shit, right? Because now you're in the Prague Festival. Now we have an orchestra. I was like pissed off by that. I just stupidly, because I was drunk. And then they played it, and at the end, Ray looked me up, and we're talking, and I'm reading him the Riot Act like an idiot, and he gave me the CD as a gift, so I would listen to it later. So, as I've told many times before, I've been on a long apology tour about that album, because I fucking love it. But when I first saw it live, I thought, this is the most pretentious thing. What are you doing? Like, you're not known for these epics, right? You're known for just kick-ass harmonies, other things.
Well,
right?
that's the crazy thing, right? Because they're really not. Most of their songs are pretty short and quirky.
Do they still tour?
No, they don't tour at all anymore. I think the last time they toured was for The End Is Beautiful, which was the album that came out after this. They even did a short European run. And if you ever meet these guys, Jamie, you would be fast friends with Ray Weston, the singer, and Chris Busby. I mean, all these guys are cool, but you know, Ray is I love that guy. So if you're watching Ray, we love you a long time. And
I'm glad I didn't hate Ray's album.
yeah. Well, if you hated it, he wouldn't mind. He's a cool dude. But I think they're a great band, and unfortunately, they just can't get it together to tour anymore. I don't know what happened, but they haven't toured in many years. They just do records. Right now, they're doing another one. That's all they do as of late.
They don't even do like the odd one-off, two-off shows anymore, like they used
No, what they do, what I've seen them do is I've seen Ray and Brett play like at the New Jersey Prague House, or do little one-offs like that. But there haven't been any Ekelund shows since 2005, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I think one of the best performances, because I've seen them a couple of times, I think my favorite performances, even though that one was great, I think my favorite was when they played the after party show at the second Nearfest in the Crocodile Rock Club.
Oh yeah, that was great.
It was like 1,000,000 degrees there, but
Yes.
the stage was like the stage was like, you know, same level as the floor, and everybody was up in front of the stage, and they just killed it. And it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was so much fun.
Yes.
So you were there for that?
Yeah, I was there.
Wow.
We know each other.
We probably bumped into each other right up there in the front, because I was in the front the entire
That's
show.
right. That's
I was
right.
drunk. I was drunk too. So yeah.
Well, you know, it's always beer o'clock at Nearfest.
Yeah, that is true.
What's the age gap there? Like how old are the people that go there?
They're, well, I don't know that. I think there's people
Used to
around
be.
my age who are now like in, I guess, in their 50s, 40s, and then there's of course much older people, and every now and then there'll be a younger person. And if
Yeah,
you
you
ever
didn't
see like
get
a
much.
woman, people are confused. They're just like, huh? You know, like there's a woman, and she's not, you
Yeah.
know, a prog fan. So it's a very strange thing. When Nectar played it, there was a lady doing interviews, and she was quite attractive, and it was amazing because it was like a silencer. These guys never shut the fuck up. But when she came to ask them questions, they were just like standing there like that,
Yeah.
stunned. So, but yeah, it wasn't a youth thing. There were some, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
some
for
people
the
with
most
their
part,
kids.
most people our
you know,
age, yeah, for the
yeah.
most part. And it was mostly guys. In fact,
Yes.
at the first Near Fest, Mastermind had a really attractive blonde singer. And like as soon as they walked out on stage, half the audience were like, oh my God, I'm in love with her. And then when they did like a meet and greet afterwards, the entire audience was flocking around their table. It was hilarious. And she was like, get these weirdos away from me. It was so funny.
Her name is
So when
Lisa
you-
Bouchel.
Yes, Lisa Bouchel, absolutely. Yeah.
That's right.
So when you told your wife, she said, "Where do you think you're going? Near Fest? You're fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Just a bunch of dudes."
A bunch of dudes.
Lisa.
And Lewis, if you heard, I don't know, you may have stumbled upon this. If you ever heard stories from any of the Near Fests about the drunk guys who hang out in the back parking lot, the parking garage, cooking sausages all day, that was my crew.
That's
So
right.
it was literally a sausage party
It was a sausage.
at a sausage party.
It was a sausage
Corners of,
party
like,
at a sausage
kielbasa
fest.
and chorizo, and we would just with
Yes.
our portable grills, we would just, that's what we ate: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We just
Yeah.
grilled dogs and sausages and drank beer. That's all we did.
There was a guy from Baltimore, you know, Ed Stevens. Everybody calls him Stuttering Ed, and he had this big car with a blue trunk, and it would open up, and it was just coolers filled with every imaginable beer. So we would just take breaks. Like sometimes if you don't really like a band, you listen to as much as you want. You walk out, you get a beer, just refresh, chill, and then come back in. You know, and it was a fantastic 3-day weekend. You know, I feel very lucky that we were able to see these. I mean, many of these bands you would have never seen.
Never had a chance. Yeah.
I mean, things, and again, it was for everybody's taste, right? I now like Hawkwind because I've heard some of the studio albums. When the only thing I ever heard them do was that show, and that was awful. For me, that was just terrible. I just walked the fuck out. This was like a joke band to me. It had nothing for me. I just left. But so there was always
a show being
activities.
groaning a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
See that.
But it's just one of those things where, you know, it's not, they had enough variety, right? Where everybody had, you know, a large number of bands that they were interested in. And there was this one, holy shit, I'm going to see this band kind of moment. And there were others that were just experiments, you know, and it was a very chill atmosphere. So I love that. So, you know, Pete did an episode you know, with Rob and Chad and those guys who were the organizers. And they really made it possible for a lot of really incredible shows to happen. For us prog heads, you couldn't ask for more.
Yeah, it's something we look forward to every year. And I did it for, 7-8 years in a row, and it was amazing. And the only reason I didn't go the last couple is because, I got married, bought a house, and that was the end of that, right? But man, from the first one all the way to 7 or 8, whatever it was, I was there every year and saw some great bands, saw some stuff that I didn't really care for, but you're not going to like everything. But Lewis was absolutely right. It's like you had classic bands, you had bands from overseas that you never would have been exposed to before. And that was the great thing about it. So you had some heavy stuff, some light mellow stuff, some classic stuff, some batshit crazy stuff. I mean, that's every year was like that.
Let me give you an example, Jamie, of what we're talking about here. There was one time, there was one they played in Trenton, because it used to be in Pennsylvania, and then they went to Trenton, and they went back. In Trenton, one morning, I think it was a Sunday morning, if I'm not mistaken, the opening band is one of my favorite bands of all time, Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum. Now, regardless of what you may have heard, prog fans are not necessarily that open-minded.
Yeah.
It's like the Genesis song. They know what they like, and that means they also know what they don't like. Right. So these guys come on there, absolutely destroy. And a lot of people were put off because the first song, the lead singer comes out with his donkey mask and he's making these devil sounds. I am the adversary. And people were like, shitting their pants. It was fucking beautiful. And then when they're crazy set with all these homemade instruments and these virtuosic, like, you know, an equivalent to the cellist for Murder by Death, but in the prog world. Carla Kihlstedt is an incredible talent and a beautiful singer. She plays violin with these guys. So they did this mesmerizing show. And then a really good band that Pete has talked about a lot. We've had a chance to play multiple festivals with them. Glass Hammer, very nice guys, Fred and company. They go out there, they have an album at the time called Lex Rex, which is like, you know, it's hitting, it's a good album. But the thing is, the contrast, it was like having Sabbath being followed by Donny and Marie Osmond. It's like, it just wasn't fair. You know, it wasn't fair to them. They had no shot, right?
And it was Sunday morning too. And
Yes.
we were still half asleep. So it's like,
so it was that sort of thing. It was great.
It wasn't like Hendrix at Woodstock.
They would have been great to go on like at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, you know, or something like that.
But just back to back, that was just very unfortunate because it wasn't really, there was nothing they did. It just couldn't possibly follow that.
Yeah.
Sleepy Time is they were road dogs. Those guys were not just playing the festivals. They were on the road 8-9 months a year. So they were a professional touring band. You know, they were really, really polished, excellent. And but it was a beautiful thing, and I miss it for sure.
Yeah.
Are we still recording?
Yes.
Or are we just shooting the shit?
I'm sure I won't mind. So that being said, another good episode here of album homework assignment. We got two positive thumbs up, I think. Here we got to go see them live, and we got a download purchase of Echoland's My. So very cool. I want to thank both of these gentlemen for doing their homework assignments and giving each other something they had never heard before. That's what it's all about. So thanks for watching, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Stay tuned. Coming up next week, and again, I'm not sure exactly who it's going to be next week. It's either going to be Lynn Versace and Jim Bakke, or it's going to be George Lemmy and Eric Porter. We'll see. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm still trying to get that settled, but either way, you'll have someone two folks next week. So for Jamie Laszlo and Louis Nasser, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. This was a lot of fun. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.